Okay, so how long does a shipping container actually last? 5 years, 10, 20, or can it survive for decades? You may be thinking these steel boxes are disposable or that they have short lifespan before they spend years crossing oceans, getting slammed by salt water, storms, cranes, and thousands of miles of travel. But after all that abuse, many shipping containers still have decades of life left. That is why I'll explain what actually determines a container's lifespan, what damage matters, what doesn't, and how to avoid buying a container that's already at the end of its life. And yeah, please subscribe and like this video. Our plan is to build the largest shipping container community in the industry, covering industry myths, helping people to choose the right solution, and finding most affordable container deals in the United States. Thank you, and let's get right into it. Okay, the journey. So before a container reaches your garden, it may have traveled between Asia, Europe, or North America hundreds of times. It may have been stacked like 6 or 7 containers high on cargo ships, lifted by cranes, loaded with heavy cargo, and exposed to heat, freezing winters, humidity, constant rain, and one of the steel's biggest enemies, salt water. So it's fair to wonder, how are these still usable after all that? Before I answer that, we need to understand what actually determines how long a shipping container lasts. So the answer depends on what you mean when you say last. Is it still strong enough for storage? Is it still wind and watertight? Is it still structurally safe or aesthetically pleasing? Let's go through the most common issues. Surface rust. This is a 10 out of 10 chance of developing after time passes. But most surface rust can simply be sanded and repainted before it becomes a serious problem. But if you don't handle it properly on time, it can create different types of problems. Like, for example, door problems. Container doors are very heavy and sometimes they become difficult to open because the container isn't sitting on the level ground. Other times the hinges or locking rods just need a little adjustment, and those are usually inexpensive fixes. But if the locking hardware has rusted away, repairs become much more involved. The entire locking system may need to be removed and replaced, which can involve cutting, welding, realigning the doors, and repaired areas. And that's why it's much better to catch rust early before it spreads. On the other hand, when it comes to small holes, tiny rust holes can develop after years of exposure to moisture and the elements, especially if the surface rust isn't treated early. And qualified welder can cut out the damaged steel, weld in a new patch, and repaint the area to stop the corrosion from spreading. But if you ignore them, these small holes can grow into larger areas of rust damage. At that point, repair becomes more expensive and the container starts heavily leaking. More steel needs to be replaced, and in severe cases, the container may no longer be worth repairing. So how long is the lifespan of a container? I'll answer that soon. Large rust areas. Once rust has spread through a larger section of the container, repairs become much more expensive, and most of the time, this is where the life of a container ends. Instead of fixing a small spot, entire steel panels may need to be cut and replaced with a new one. So professional welding technically can restore the container, but the repairs take more time, more materials, and more labor. So technically, a life of a container ends when the repairing price is greater and when it's harder to fix one than just buying a new one. Big dents. Large dents can look alarming, but many of them are purely cosmetic and don't affect the container strength or performance, unless the dent is on the top side of your container, because it's very important to see where the dent is actually located, because it can create water pooling, and we definitely don't want that. Because if a dent in a roof creates a low spot, rainwater can collect there instead of draining away. And over time, standing water accelerates the corrosion, weakens the steel, and can eventually lead to rust holes or leaks inside of the container. To be sure you buy the right container, call me directly at 813-798-6147 or click on the first link in the description to receive your official quote. So what is the answer? How much do containers last? It depends on which grade of the container. Container grades exist because every container has lived a different life and every customer has different needs. Some prefer aesthetics, some prefer cheaper solutions for storage or a project. One-trip containers. These containers had only one trip from the place where they were manufactured to the place where they are being sold. And with proper maintenance, you can realistically expect 35 to 45 years of service from this type of a container. The next one is a cargo-worthy container. This is a container that people usually use for shipping purposes. They need to pass inspections, and their lifespan is usually 20 to 30 years of stationary use after it's retired from shipping. So It's like a mid-grade option. Next one is a wind and watertight container. And this container does no longer meet the standards required for international shipping, but it still keeps the wind, rain, and pests out, making it an excellent storage solution. So this one would last 15 to 25 years. So there's definitely different lifespans depending on the grade, as we covered just now. So the one trip container's life ends the same where the wind and watertight container life ends, because eventually it will become a wind and watertight container. One trip becomes a CW becomes a wind and watertight container, but approximately a total lifespan of a container from the moment where it was manufactured to the moment that it dies is around 40 to 60 years. Of course, if maintained properly. Because the biggest factor isn't the age, it's maintenance. Keeping the container on solid level foundation, preventing water from pooling on the roof, repairing paint chips before rust spreads, lubricating the door hardware, and addressing small repairs early can dramatically increase its lifespan. And that is exactly what we do with our containers. We maintain them, ensure rust prevention for minimal rusting, repair the ones with holes for budget solutions, and much more. So if you're currently looking for a storage container, and if you're in the market of potentially buying one, click on the first link in the description or call 813-798-6147, and I'll personally help you choose the right container solution for your personal project. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel, because our goal is to build the largest shipping container community online by sharing honest advice, busting industry myths, and helping people avoid expensive mistakes before they actually buy one. So thank you for watching this video. This has been Container Insider, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.